Welcome back, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome back to another episode of the Nerd Guys podcast.
Featuring your boys, me.
And me. I'm sorry, I didn't know we were doing the announcements like that. So, rewind.
Featuring your boys, me, Jamie Shadow 9.
And me, Kitsune.
So, how you guys been liking the podcast so far? I've been loving it. Especially because, well, I don't know, I've just been loving it. It's been really, really fun.
I'm stuck on the rewind part because to me, I feel like I sounded like the tree from Super Mario Baseball. Just a... I've been loving the podcast as well. It's been really enjoyable. It's going to be fun seeing how this goes and seeing where this goes because we're both recording these episodes after work, on days off. Not before work yet, but I see it in our future. Well, in your future, but maybe. But we do it for you all. We have a nice little topic for you today. Today we're going to be talking about watching shows.
That's right.
So, we're going to be talking about what shows we liked, what cartoons we grew up with, the shows we don't really like, shows we like to see return. Oh, I have so many of those. And the last topic is going to be a doozy. You're going to have to wait for that one. So, Mr. Shadow 9,
Yes.
do you want to get it started?
That's sure. Alright.
What kind of shows do you like?
Oh man, it's always funny when I talk about this because the shows that I like are they're kind of like far in between because, you know, as we said in a previous episode, that television, like YouTube is television, Twitch is television, right?
Yeah.
So like, you know, some of the channels or some of the shows that I like are kind of far in between. I like the Masked Singer. That is my show. I love the Masked Singer.
And I hate you already. I'm not a fan.
I know some people do not like the Masked Singer, but I from the first season I fell in love with it, and I think it was season 2 where everyone was trying to guess who the fox was, and I knew who it was.
I just remember that the monster was T-Pain, and I knew it from the rip because I knew that man could sing.
Yeah, so like, the fox, for those who, I mean, this is spoilers if you care about spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
For the Masked Singer, but the fox was Wayne Brady, and I was like, I know it's him. I know his voice. I know how his dancing. I followed a lot of like his career for a while, so I was like, I'm already familiar with the man.
Who doesn't know? Like, who can't recognize Wayne Brady's voice at this point? Man sings on like every show he's on.
The judges were guessing the entire time that it was Jamie Foxx.
Wayne Brady and Jamie Foxx do not sound alike.
And like, the clues that he gave were that he always wanted to be a superhero, which, if you know Wayne Brady, that's something that he actually sort of gets to do on his talk shows and stuff. Not talk shows, but like, you know, Let's Make a Deal and stuff. He likes to be the hero. He likes to, you know, give back to people and, you know, help people out.
So Wayne Brady doesn't actually have to smack a hoe.
I love it. And the other one was that he has the fox has a daughter, and I was like,
A lot of foxes have daughters.
but,
This fox doesn't have a daughter yet, maybe.
but
Hopefully, one day.
But that's why they were like, oh, it's Jamie Foxx, because Jamie Foxx has a daughter. And I was like, yeah, but so does Wayne Brady. It was entertaining. Oh, and the other one that I thought was very obvious was Patti LaBelle. Yeah, Patti LaBelle when she was on there.
Yeah, when she was the bee. I'm like, how do you not know who this is?
And I'm trying to remember Gladys Knight. They were like, was it Gladys Knight or who was it they were trying to get? They were guessing her as.
They definitely did guess Gladys Knight.
Was it Gladys
Because I was
Knight?
one of the ones that guessed Gladys Knight.
So I knew it was Patty from the rip because especially when she sung 9 to 5, I was like, you mean to tell me you don't know? That's come on, man.
You can't get any more on the nose than that.
Yeah.
See, well, again, while I'm not the biggest fan of The Masked Singer, I don't really watch as much TV as I used to. I watch more YouTube than anything. And, like, if we're talking about the YouTube verse, I definitely could give you some of the...
Wait, but tell us your favorite television show.
I am getting ready to.
Yeah,
I'm getting to it. I could give you a whole bunch of YouTube channels to watch, but I used to be and kind of am an avid TV watcher. More so with streaming services now than actual cable, because I don't have cable because it's expensive.
Nobody wants to pay for cable right
Nobody wants to pay for cable. You don't want to pay for cable, no. So if you want a discount on your... No, I'm joking. We're not sponsored.
That would be hilarious. If we were sponsored, I probably wouldn't have to go back to work.
That would have been you and me both, buddy. But no, in all seriousness, so some of my favorite shows I've been watching recently, I just got into The Rookie.
Yeah.
So when I hurt myself, I was, bedridden for some time, a couple months. And I actually had a chance to sit down and stream all of The Rookie. All 5 seasons of The Rookie. I watched it when I woke up until I fell asleep. I really, really like that show. Shout out to The Rookie. Can't wait for season 6. It's like one of the more realistic cop shows that I think I see. Like, yeah, some of the stuff is pretty Hollywood, but on a scale of real to fake, it's like somewhere in the middle. One other show that I like,
Wait. I was gonna say an animated show, so we did realistic shows, so I want to choose an animated show. So what's one of your favorite anime shows you've been watching?
That's hard. That's hard because I watch so many cartoons. It's crazy. The most recent animated show that I watched, I do believe, was Unicorn Warriors Eternal on HBO Max. I'm sorry, on Max. That cartoon was pretty interesting. I've also been watching the new Adventures of Superman.
Yeah.
On Max as well. This is not a ad for Max. I just truly like watching Max.
It literally is a Superman anime.
It is a Superman anime.
There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. It's straight up Superman anime.
But I also enjoy my adult cartoons as well. I watch Big Mouth when it premiered on Netflix. And I also watched Human Resources when it premiered on Netflix. I really enjoy those shows. Like, to me, cartoons don't hit the same as they used to, because I don't really relate to the stuff that they're writing for a lot of new cartoons for children. Yeah. And at risk of sounding old, again, everybody, I am only in my 20s. I'm only 27. But stuff has changed so drastically that I go back and watch my cartoons and I'm like, man, these had a message. And now I watch stuff and it's just like, where's the message at? What are we teaching our children?
For me, some of my favorite animated shows I've watched. One, The Dragon Prince. I did not expect to like this show at all, but I absolutely adore this show. I love The Dragon Prince so much that I was like, I can't wait for book 4. Book 4 is gonna be amazing. Now book 4 is out, and I'm like, I'm not getting in Netflix because Netflix charges a leg and an arm for everything.
Yeah. I give you another dragon show that you might like.
Hmm.
It's from my childhood. It's from our childhood, and it came on Jetix.
Oh, you talking about Jake Long?
No, that is a good one.
Ah.
That's actually like one of Mrs. Kitsune's favorite cartoons. But that's because Dante Basco.
Okay.
The show I'm talking about is, I do believe it was called Dragon Riders.
I remember Dragon Riders.
I loved that cartoon.
I remember Dragon Riders.
But continue. I'm sorry. Keep telling the audience more of your favorite cartoons. You ended with saying Netflix charges an arm and a leg.
What other animated shows have I been watching that I like? Let's see. That's where the problem comes in, because like I said, I'm not usually someone who watches like a lot of television. It's just more about like Twitch and YouTube. And oh, you know what? I can say this. It's been a while.
Dragon Booster. I was wrong.
Voltron, the new Voltron.
Yes, that is a really good show. I watched like the first, I think, 2 seasons, and I fell off after that because
All 8 seasons are great. I watched 8 seasons with our friend Solaris at his house. It was straight good.
no spoilers.
I'm not saying anything. You have to just watch it. It's just straight up good. Like, if you remember Voltron from the 80s, you will like
That's
the
what I
new
used to
Voltron.
watch
You will
before I
love
watched
the
it.
new Voltron. It not only does it pay good homage to the old one, but it does add a lot of really good plot elements and explains a lot, and like you get more depth with some of the characters that kind of didn't get any like detailing and all that. It's really good.
You know what I wish they would make another like good series of? Transformers.
Yeah.
That used to be my cartoon. Like,
We've been talking about Hasbro a lot.
yeah,
It's a Hasbro property.
But like, I guess. Are you ready to move into the next segment?
Yeah, let's talk about cartoon shows that we grew up on.
Now, my gripe, Transformers. I was a huge Transformers nerd. So much so that every movie that comes out, I go see. However, the cartoons, to me, fell off after Prime.
Yeah.
Like, I watched the original 80 series. My favorite series is the Unicron trilogy, so Armada, Energon, and crap, what's the last one? Someone out there in the comments is going to yell at me. It's okay to yell at me in the comments. I feel like it was Cybertron. Those were my favorite series. I like the series that came directly before Transformers Energon. Or not Energon, Transformers Armada. And I like the series that came after, like Transformers Animated. Transformers Prime was starting to get back to that like grit that the Transformers used to have, but then I don't know what happened. Like, they started going more toward like a Nick Jr. type of show and started making it more for like little children instead of adolescent children like it was before. Like, it's like I like the days when Transformers was literally a dubbed anime.
Something interesting that I knew about Transformers, because I know some of the things about Transformers, but I wasn't really like I don't know, I'm like an in-between fan. Like, I know a lot about Transformers.
You appreciate it.
Yeah, very much so. And one of the things that I learned was that Hasbro had different, roads. Let's say like avenues for different Transformers fans. So you had the little kids and like babies and toddlers. Then you had preteens and teens, and then you had the adults.
Yep.
And they would also, issue their toys in that same way, where it's like, oh, these are the ones for the kids that come with safety guards and all that, and easy ways for the Transformers to transform. Then there's the, adolescence, which is a little bit more complicated. There's more like things that they would be able to understand, and then there's the hard, gritty stuff for the adults.
Yep.
And the reason why I know that is because it relates to how Hasbro was supposedly going to shift for the Power Rangers line.
It's a shame that's not a cartoon. I'd count it in the category of cartoon, even though it's live action, but it's a children's show. Like, at least Power Rangers is a children's show. It was marketed toward children.
I'm not going to spend too much time on like talking about it because we've already had an episode and we're going to have another episode about it. But like,
go check them out when they air next week.
Power Rangers has grown and evolved so much over the years. And I think, to me, it doesn't matter which saga or which brand of Power, like the Saban era, the Disney era, the Neo Saban era, or now the
Disney era is good.
or the Hasbro era. It doesn't matter where you love or where you came in. Power Rangers has always done better. I can't stand you.
Hey, listen, you know our stream isn't rated G for everyone. It's rated T for teen. And possibly rated R. I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
But outside of Power Rangers, some of the shows I grew up were on PBS.
Yes.
Man, give me some Cyber Chase. Give me
Arthur.
Yeah, Arthur was good. Arthur was good up until a point. I think once I got into the age of like maybe 13, I stopped watching Arthur because I was like, I don't got time for Arthur. Especially afterwards, because like we had Postcards from Buster, which was to me a better show. Let's see, who else? Oh, I loved what is it called? Martha Speaks. There we go.
Yes.
I loved Martha Speaks.
I messed with Super Wide.
Yo, Super Wide hits though.
It
That
does.
theme song is great. Super Wide is a good show. I'm not even gonna sit here and be like, nah, no, it is. Oh, and then if you are as old as we are, you know about Zoom. Zaboomafoo.
Wait, no, which Zoom? Because there are two Zooms. There's a Zoom.
2000 Zoom.
Okay, I'm like, because there's a Zoom that we grew up with, and then there's Zoom from the 80s.
No, 2000 Zoom.
Or am I thinking of the electric company?
You might be thinking of the electric company.
But I know Zoom was out around that time.
Yeah, so like, yeah, 1999 Zoom.
Okay. Because I think Zoom was basically I don't want to say it was a reboot of... Oh, yeah, 70s.
1970s, yeah. But the one that actually had they had everything together was...
Come on in, Zoom!
Yeah!
Zoom. Even though it wasn't a cartoon.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It wasn't a cartoon, but that was definitely a show I loved.
Goated.
Let me think of more cartoons. If we're not talking about PBS, we're gonna move to, like, cable. Then, for me, is the Backyardigans.
I could not stand that show.
Oh my goodness, they had all the soundtracks.
everyone raved about that show, but I was not a fan.
Listen, it was so good. It was so good. I'm trying to think. Who else did we have? Hey Arnold.
Hey Arnold, yeah. Hey Arnold was a good one.
There's people that like to rave about Doug, but I was never really a Doug guy.
I always thought Doug was boring.
Yeah.
Except for my boy, the blue dude.
Yeah. As told by Ginger, though. That's basically
yo.
Doug, but better. If you realize it.
Yes. But like Ginger,
That's such a good show.
I liked Lloyd in Space.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about Lloyd in Space.
Yup. Illuminating television.
The Wild Thornberries.
Yeah.
Educational and fun.
Yep. Rugrats.
Of course.
Oh. Since we're on Nickelodeon, Fairly Odd Parents.
That show was so good up until they got Poof.
SpongeBob. Up until they got Poof.
I'm sorry.
Bro, how do you not like Poof?
It's not Poof. Poof himself was fine. Poof was fine. I liked the episode that when he actually did stuff. I was like, oh man, he's really cute. He could do stuff. Poof. But when Cosmo was pregnant and the entire saga and everybody just ranting and raving online, I was like, this is exactly why shows like this die.
This show is still ongoing.
Yeah.
And it's going strong.
I don't know. It just it stopped being the same to me. Like the jokes stopped being as like funny or like clever as they used to be.
I'd agree to an extent, but my thing is, I don't think Fairly Odd Parents was as good after the introduction of Sparky, the dog. I feel like it kind of went downhill after that.
Some people would say it's the introduction of the girl that Timmy had to share his fairies with.
I hated that as well. I was able to get by Sparky. But yeah, I was like, that doesn't even hold because the live action movies with Drake Bell are technically canon.
Oh, I forgot about those.
And he's grown and doesn't have to share his fairies. And come on, a fairy shortage? Like, there were always enough fairies for children around the world over all those millennia before Timmy got his. And now all of a sudden, there's a fairy shortage. What are the fairies dying?
Yeah.
But to keep going, SpongeBob show's still going strong, and the jokes still are pretty funny. Oh man, I can't say the next one because it's under our next topic. But switching gears, not switching gears, but to go adjacent. Batman.
The animated series?
Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, the animated series is good.
And the New Adventures of Batman. Batman the Brave and the Bold. Batman Beyond.
Yes.
Warner Brothers, if you're listening, please give us the Batman Beyond movie.
Please just give us back Batman Beyond.
Yes, Terry McGinnis was great.
So awesome. A show that I really want to get back into watching is Young Justice, because Young Justice is really good.
It was great. I'm all caught up.
And then, please, DC, I'm begging you, bring back Teen Titans already, please. We've been waiting long enough. That show was so good. It was vastly improved, better than it's a little offshoot, Teen Titans Go. Ugh.
It's bad. As much as I hate Teen Titans Go, I actually think it's funny.
I hate that show so much.
It depends on who you watch it with. You gotta watch it with Mrs. Kitsune. If you watch it with her, you'll find joy in it. I can't watch it by myself. She's the only one I can watch it with.
I'm sorry, that show just... The Robo Booty thing, I was like, no.
We gotta make mama money, though.
No.
The pyramid scheme money.
No. I'm sorry, I just can't.
It's actually more clever than what it seems like.
I know, people say that to me, but I'm like, I just can't get behind it. And like, it's funny because the show that I like, Sonic Boom, you don't like.
I hate Sonic Boom.
But I love Sonic Boom so much.
But I love Sonic Prime.
I have not gotten to see it yet.
And I like Sonic X.
Alright, I like Sonic X. I hate Chris.
Oh man, you hate Chris's American counterpart.
I love the way that Sonic is portrayed in Sonic X, and it really gives us the SA1 SA2 story between the seasons of Sonic X. My thing with Sonic X is Chris is a sniveling little bitch all the time, and one of the things that I hate is like I think it was either at the end of season 1 or 2, one of the two, or maybe both. Chris is like, I don't want you to live anymore. It's like, bro, you spent the entire time trying to help him go back to his world. Now that he's leaving, you don't want him to leave? Motherfucker, make up your mind. Or when they have, like, there's an episode where they're chasing at the Chaos Emeralds, and Chris and Eggman end up in the same spot. And Chris gets the Chaos Emerald, and Eggman like snatches it. And I was like, yo, you should have just smacked him, just pimp smacked him, and then took the Chaos Emerald. Like Sonic X, hate Chris. Everybody else in that show is fantastic though, especially Ella. Ella is amazing.
I was gonna ask you done with your rant?
Yes.
Alright.
So we went from cartoons.
Slugterra.
Huh?
Slugterra was another show that I used to like. It was like Pokemon, but with slugs and guns.
I don't know that one.
I was a big Disney kid.
That's why.
And there are like a bunch of other cartoons that I could go through. But
well, we should probably throw in the Cartoon Network ones just so people don't castrate us.
you're right. Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Bro, that show is so good.
Generator Rex.
Oh, I remember that show. Lord.
Ben 10. Yeah. All the ones before the most recent seasons.
Courage.
Courage the Cowardly Dog. Scooby-Doo.
Powerpuff Girls.
Powerpuff Girls. Not the new one, but I heard the new one's pretty okay.
I even heard I wanted to watch the one where they were like more anime too.
Yeah, the anime one. There is actually an anime.
Yeah.
Also
Ed, Edd n Eddy.
Ed, Edd n Eddy. Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
If you wanted to finish that, if you were a fan, it's on Max. The entire series of Samurai Jack is on Max. I watched the last season and it was great.
Ooh. I know these aren't Cartoon Network ones, but I kind of lumped them together because they were on what was the late night
Adult Swim?
Yes.
Or Toonami?
Adult Swim. Because I used to watch. You want to know how I watch Inuyasha?
Inuyasha.
Inuyasha?
Inuyasha.
Inuyasha?
Inuyasha.
Inuyasha?
Inuyasha.
Yes.
I'm sorry, so many people mispronounce it.
Inuyasha.
Close enough.
Anyway.
It's all love.
I watched that on Adult Swim, like the entirety of it on Adult Swim. I love that show. I love that anime. It's so good. Oh,
It's on Max.
oh, I need to go back and watch it. If you love Kikyo, Kikyo's for the streets. So, you've been warned. I know some people are like Kagome, blah blah blah. Nah, but Kikyo's for the streets. So,
Wasn't it the girl with the cat?
no, that's the woman that Inuyasha was chasing the entire time.
Sorry, stream or podcast. I'm enjoying a snack while we're recording.
I mean, that's our brand, so. Also, I mean, it wasn't specifically on like Adult Swim or Cartoon Network, but I mean, Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball Z.
Mm-hmm. I guess I get to tell the story of how I watched the Frieza saga like 8 million times. So if you're younger, you're not gonna know this, because now the way that anime is handled now is a lot better than the way it was years ago. But if you know about shows going from different television television providers, you might get this. Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, I think they were on Fox.
WB Kids.
WB, there we go. And then
They hop from there to Toonami.
yep. And then they move from Toonami,
To Nicktoons Network.
yeah,
With the introduction of Dragon Ball Z Kai.
So, as you could imagine, when it was originally on, we were going through the Saiyan saga, which is, Raditz and Vegeta and all them. And then we would get to the Frieza saga. And Frieza! You get all the way up until the point where we meet Frieza, and then the season would go on hiatus. Okay, cool. We come back, and since it moved to not even before it moved, then we move on to getting up to the fight with Frieza, and then the show would move to a different channel. So you have to watch the Saiyan saga all over again. Watch the entire Frieza saga all over again. Get to Frieza. And guess what? It moved again.
It got better when it got to Toonami.
Yeah.
Because it ran all the way through on Toonami.
Yeah. We got all the way through from Saiyan Saga 2 through Frieza Saga. And then...
You got all the way to the Buu Saga to the end of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. And then Kai came along and was like, hey, remember when you had to watch the Saiyan Saga again? Well, you're gonna watch it one more time. Oh wait, since it's on Nickelodeon and they do the 20 episodes thing, it's just gonna be the Saiyan Saga. You're gonna have to wait until the fall for Frieza Saga. Bye.
Meanwhile, Toonami was still airing it.
It's actually,
Or you could just go online and find it.
yeah, at this point, like, people were watching the sub.
Yeah.
But if you were still watching the dub, this is the pain that you had to go through.
Well, no, technically, you could go back and watch the dub.
What?
Like the entire series of Dragon Ball Z, the dub.
Oh, well,
Because it was done.
I'm saying, like, if you were devoted to Kai, because most people just did not know about Dragon Ball otherwise.
I didn't even know what Kai was. Somebody had to explain to me that it was supposedly all the filler cut out.
You know how many people I came across that were like, oh my god, Dragon Ball Z Kai, and I'm like, what do you mean Dragon Ball Z Kai? And it's like, oh my god, it's the best. I'm like,
You mean Dragon Ball Z?
yeah. And they're like, no, Kai. Because
Well-
Kai cuts all out the extra stuff. It's like, but most of the extra stuff is actually really good stuff that
Yeah.
adds to the plot.
Like, while everybody was watching Dragon Ball Z Kai, I turned around and started watching Dragon Ball GT.
Oh yeah.
Even though it wasn't canon, yes, I know it's not considered canon. It is now.
But at the time.
But
it
at the
was.
time, yeah.
And some people don't like it. I like.
I loved it.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
But it just makes it hard to think about now because Super Saiyan 4 technically should be stronger than Super Saiyan Blue.
Yeah, it's one of those forms where I feel like it was way more goated and way more ahead of its time than what we got going on now.
I'm going to make a lot of you out there angry.
No.
Technically, if it's all the same universe and the same timeline, Super Saiyan Blue is not as strong as Super Saiyan 4.
Or Super Saiyan 3. Think about it. Remember what Goku said? He didn't even master it yet.
That's a good point. But also this is really what's going to make people angry, and they're going to be typing away, oh no, not that, coming up with fan theories. But unless the creator of Dragon Ball says otherwise,
Oh.
at this moment in time, Super Saiyan 4 is stronger than Ultra Instinct. If it's all the same timeline.
I mean, technically, if you want to think about it this way, Super Saiyan 4 is technically the original Ultra Instinct. Because it was tapping into the most primal sense of Super Saiyan. They grow a tail, they get hair, you know, their actual hair grows out.
I will say that Ultra Instinct technically is its own thing.
Yeah.
Only because it's like a mastery of one's senses.
Right.
But technically, at the present moment, until it's written otherwise, Super Saiyan 4 is not as strong as Ultra Instinct. Unless super far into the manga, which I just started reading the Dragon Ball Super manga to catch up with everybody that reads the manga train.
Yeah.
Unless there's something I don't know, it wasn't spelled out in the anime.
Now, we're going to go from shows that we loved watching to shows that we don't like. And we already talked about two that we don't, but let's talk about some others. What are some shows you don't like?
I wasn't a fan of the Backyardigans.
Well, I mean, like, other than the ones we mentioned.
I'm trying to think. Because there aren't a lot of cartoons that I don't actually like. Oh, wait.
I mean, it could be other shows. It doesn't have to be
Wait.
cartoons. If you ask me, it's one of them is The Misadventures of Flapjack. I hated that show.
What?
I'm sorry.
I love Flapjack.
I completely hated
Bobby.
that show. It was to me it was a Cartoon Network version of SpongeBob, and I was like, no.
Bobby.
I was
Captain
like,
Knuckles. Oh man, I love
no. I
Flapjack.
apologize for all the Flapjack fans, but me, I was not a fan of that show. I could not see. The only thing I liked was the whale was the mom. I was like, okay, I can get behind that. But everything else about that show, I was like, nope.
What's another show that you don't like? Because I'm having a rough time thinking about stuff that I don't like.
Oh man. You know, it's so funny when you have to think about it, you can't think of anything.
I know, because like I can't think of anything that I don't like.
Let me think, because we're both not really like negative people, so like a lot of the like things we don't like, we really don't like draw attention to. So that's a attributed reason, but it's okay not to like things. And like I guess for me, Um. Oh. Oh man. I didn't like when they changed the Lunatics. You remember that?
I loved the
No, I
Lunatics.
love the Lunatics, but you remember when they had that like little weird phase where they changed the animation and like changed some of the voices. It wasn't even that long.
I remember the voices, but I don't remember the animation.
Yeah, they just completely. I was like, it was already good. Why did you
Oh.
change it?
Speaking of that, I know some shows. So,
Mm.
the rebranded Tom and Jerry,
Oh,
the rebranded Looney Tunes, the Looney Tunes show,
oh.
not the Looney Tunes, the Looney Tunes show.
Mm-hmm.
When Ben 10 came back,
The new Blues Clues.
wow,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
The reason why I don't like the new Blues Clues is it has nothing to do with the fact that it's for the new like kids now today. Like of course it is. I don't like that they just didn't, they just didn't give this new character, like the new person that hangs out with Blue, just his own personality and all that. Like he's like, oh, I'm friends or related to them. I'm like, no. It was Steve and Joe, they were brothers. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
If we're gonna have like different hosts, that they could be, it's Steve's friend Derek. Hi kids, I'm Derek. I'm Steve's friend from college.
Makes sense.
Instead of going, oh man, I'm related to them because, and then I'm wearing the same shirt, but it's different color. Yeah, it's just so annoying, man. I hate when they have to try to rebrand shows, but then the way they do it is by just feeding the kids the same things that they fed us.
Yep.
Instead of coming up with new like you can take some things that are old and just put them on TV for the kids. Like, yeah, that works. But if you want to kind of give them a new experience and things that kind of relate to them, then just give them the new character that's able to, express some of the things they might be going through. We've become more familiar with depression in our society, so like,
Hey Bird.
yeah, like you would not have guessed that some of the characters from Sesame Street years ago were based off of real life situations.
Freaking Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh.
The fact that like people are now realizing that some of their favorite characters are based off of things that people go through, and it's like years later, it's baffling because it's like I was a kid and I already knew. I was like, oh, Eeyore's kind of like the distant, kind of like very droopy one. Of course he's very dour, but that is not that he always wants to be. It's just like he's going through something.
Mans was depressed.
All the time.
All the time. Oscar the Grouch.
Bro, why would...
He was angry because he lived in a freaking trash can.
That's right. But now it's more commonplace to be like, oh, this is Abby Cadabby, and Abby Cadabby has ADHD. And it's like, okay, that's good. But instead of saying it, just have her be that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't need you to be so,
Straightforward.
yeah. Sometimes being subtle about something gets the point across more, better than just outright saying it. Because now a kid can go like, oh man, I'm like that. That was a side tangent, but
I mean, that kind of takes me into shows that I like to see return. Because talking about shows with messages, one of the shows I have a couple shows.
Mm-hmm.
One show, Danny Phantom.
Oh yeah.
Another show, My Life as a Teenage Robot.
I was just about to say that. Yes.
But the show that I wish would make a comeback, on top of Teen Titans, obviously.
Are you about to say Static Shock?
I am about to say Static Shock. Static Shock was such a good show. And it gave such good representation to people that look like you and people that look like me.
And not only just people that look like us, but like people of color in general.
Because like you had your Latin characters. She was a villain, but she eventually learned. She's like, wait, what I'm doing is wrong. There are people that actually love me. You have Richie, the white guy. Like, at the time, he was just more like a Slim Shady-esque character. And then, you know, he's like, you know what? Richie's down.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the best episode was the episode that tackled racism.
Yo, with Richie's dad?
Yeah. Because, like, his dad wasn't trying to be that way, but it was how he was raised. And since he was taught like that as a kid, you know, that paired with all the stresses that he had from his job, it just came off that way. And he's like, you know what? I don't mean to be this way. I want to make a change.
Yeah.
Like, plus you get into the crossovers with Justice League, Batman Beyond, Justice League Unlimited. Like,
Static is such a good character that's why I wish he would make a comeback. Because right now in our current era, we have Miles Morales.
Yep.
Like, Miles Morales is basically Static Shock. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm going to tell you you're wrong for a couple different reasons.
Well,
we'll go into it off air. But
no, I
get what you're saying. What he represents.
Yeah, what he not like exactly, but what he represents is exactly what, you know, Static Shock was when we were watching it when we were younger.
Yeah.
And the best thing is like when people saw the most recent Spider-Man movie and Miles' mom, Rhea, everyone's like, fine. Oh my god, Latinas are so fine now. I'm like,
Latinas have always been fine.
Exactly. Like, where y'all been at?
Always. Not till, you know, downplay our sisters, because our sisters always been fine too. Women in general have always been fine to me. Like,
but not only that, but she was also, you know, she was a mom, and she also had that tired look.
Yeah.
And I know some people really love that tired look because that kind of expresses them. So, like, yeah, of course, like, these things you want to be able to see on screen. You don't always want to see, you know, some vibrant, plucky person. You want to see someone that's
perfect house mom.
You want to see a mom that's kind of like struggling a little bit, but she's doing fine. She's working hard, type stuff.
Yeah, and like, I don't want to gloss over it. I got to come back around. Danny Phantom. I wish Danny Phantom would make a comeback because it was such a good show, and literally by the end of the series, Mans had multiple different powers. He was still learning how to master them, and he had finally got good with his team. Like, that's a series that I will go back and rewatch. I've already watched it like 3 different times. I would love to see them as adults. Like, as adult ghost hunters.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a good show.
Yeah,
such a good show. But like, outside of the cartoon sphere, I do like home improvement shows. I like cooking shows. I really like DIY, like, home improvement shows, which is why I watch a lot of the YouTube that I watch. But I mean, recently we've been hearing a lot about fireplaces and what? What? Fireplaces and what?
Little John Yale.
Yeah.
Yale.
Okay.
So let's get this conversation started, because you're probably wondering, what the hell are you two talking about?
What are you two talking about?
So we've been watching.
I don't remember what the one show is, but I remember that the contractor's name is Joe.
We've been watching Max lately, and
The show is not named Max.
we were watching shows on Max, and one of the shows we've been watching two home improvement shows. Well, no, actually all three of them are home improvement. We haven't watched the cooking ones yet.
So, Home Inspector Joe.
Home Inspector Joe.
Lil Jon wants to do what?
Oh yeah, that one. And then Celebrity IOU.
Yes.
So let's start with Home Inspector Joe.
Just take the reins and go for it, because you have more gripes with it than I do.
I love the show. It's not the show itself. I think, first of all, Home Inspector Joe. Joe is cool. I like him. He's just very straightforward. He's funny. I like the way that he talks to the people and everything. But what it is that he inspects all these homes that these people want to buy, and they have two choices that they choose based on their budget and all that stuff. Most of these houses that these people have bought are sometimes they're within reason, like they're pretty good price, especially considering the couple's budget and what they want to do. But there, the first two episodes we were watching, the families wanted, like, the houses came with fireplaces, and there were a lot of like structural issues, like mold and some decaying parts and all other stuff that Joe found because he was inspecting the house, and he would let them know what the stuff that they need. And some of their needs were, oh, we want to have a better looking fireplace, and I'm like, why? What does the fireplace do for you? And it's not like one of those electric ones. It's actually like gas, the gas power. You gotta get not gas power, but like get the wood and you gotta burn it types. And I'm like, you do realize you would save more money by taking the fireplace out than having it in. Just and every single time it's like, oh my god, it has a fireplace, and we want to have the fireplace so nice and for the family. Just pissed me off. Pissed me right off. And I didn't understand. And I don't understand. Yeah. I think that's basically all I wanted to say about the fireplaces. But otherwise, the show's really good. Oh, well, there's one more thing. So, I love barn doors. Barn doors are great. But this one mom, she was like, oh, I would like to have glass. Oh, no, the designer's like, we can have you have glass barn doors. And she's like, yeah, I would like to have that so I can always see what they're doing. And it's like, so then why have doors? That making no sense. Because they had a playroom, and that's where the barn door, the glass barn doors were. So yeah. But sometimes these couples make some of the weirdest decisions with like the stuff that they want, and most of it is like you could literally get that done after all the structural issues are fixed. Because if the house is able to function and you have the necessary stuff being put in, you can worry about all the stuff that you want later. Like, you can have some of the stuff that you want, of course, but I don't think that it would be too hard to be like, oh yeah, we should probably not have, you know, a broken deck or, you know, asbestos in our house.
You mean you don't want asbestos in your house?
Yeah. No, I want to have my fireplace and it has to have good plating.
Oh my goodness.
It has to be fetch.
This was the crossover that they were talking about. Justice League Cross Ruby, Superheroes and Huntsmen Part 1.
I'm not going to say anything because this relates to something that has been going on in the background.
Well, this right here, I am going to be watching.
I would like to say something that but I'm not going to.
Keep going back to your rant.
I'm done. I'm done talking about fireplaces.
Oh, you're done talking about fireplace.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's a movie. I low-key want Ruby and Bruce Wayne to fall in love. And they can have some babies. As long as they're like both teenagers. They could grow up.
No.
But anyway.
I'm fine.
Come on, don't do that.
I'm not gonna air them out right now. I don't want to do it.
Not on podcast.
No.
Anyway, but yes, people are just like super difficult when it comes to buying houses. I'm like, I get you're paying money for all this stuff, but like, bruh.
Joe brings his team in with the designer, and they actually work on this house to, well, at least work on the first floor and the outside and the basement.
And sometimes the basement.
And sometimes the basement. We don't ever get to see the bedrooms or anything, which sucks. But Joe and his team are coming out for y'all, you know? And one of the I think it was the first family we watched, they bought a house that was like super close to their budget. And when Joe was starting to tell them like what they needed to do to the house because they started finding shit, they're like, oh man.
But we wanted a driveway. But we wanted the fireplace to be beautiful. But we wanted granite countertop and real wood.
We wanted the barn door, the glass barn doors. Like I said, I love barn doors. Trust me. But those glass barn doors were unnecessary.
Yes, the glass barn doors were so the mother could see her children while the doors were closed and they were in their playroom. Bruh. I'll just say, I like the shows. Celebrity IOU was pretty funny because like it's the Property Brothers.
Yeah.
We watched the episode with Kevin Hart, and
that one was really funny.
Kevin Hart's just a character. But I think Lil Jon Does What is also a pretty good show because like
it has a lot of chaotic energy.
Exactly.
It's very Little John.
And like it shows that these people that become celebrities, oftentimes get into something a little bit more creative, which, you know, it just shows that a lot of us are actually creatives, but we don't show it.
Or sometimes we're, you know, let's say, because Lil Johnson has been in the music industry and that's been his avenue, right?
What?
Yeah!
Yeah! Okay!
So when you see someone like him do stuff like the, you know, home improvement type thing, it's like, wow, I didn't realize that that's what he liked to do while he wasn't doing music.
Exactly. Like, it's really cool because all these shows show people helping other people, and like those are the main DIY shows that I really like, because I like seeing people be helped, especially when they're grateful for it. Like, I used to like the show Home Improvement because I used to like watching those families.
Oh yeah.
You know, they need it, and people came in and rebuilt it. Like, regardless of the truths that may have come out about them, like Pimp My Ride, where they weren't actually doing anything but putting a body kit over a broken car. But I digress. I like watching these shows because I think they're pretty cool. Like, even if they're not really fixing anything, you could still learn how to do certain things, and it still teaches you something.
Plus, it's just a very heartfelt, you know, feeling watching these, and a lot of times, like I said, when we're watching Joe, it's funny. It's not funny for like because it's comedy based, but it's funny like seeing how the families react, and we kind of like make jokes while we're watching it. So like, yeah, that's why I like watching these shows, and it's also good to watch these shows with your friends.
Exactly, and that's what makes it all the better. So, I guess this is a great place to end it. Today we've talked about watching shows. What shows do we like? What cartoons we grew up on? Shows we don't like. Shows we wish would return. And fireplaces and fireplaces and what? Fireplaces and well, actually, it was Fireplaces and Lil Jon. But I guess the takeaway from today's episode: go get some friends, go find someone you love.
Yeah, and watch some stuff together.
Watch some stuff together. There's nothing better than hanging out with your best friends and watch some good TV. That's especially right. Since fall is coming up.
Yeah, it's a good time to watch some TV together.
Yep.
Whether you're watching TV, YouTube, Twitch, or any other thing you're watching.
Yep. We should just delve into what we watch on YouTube in another episode.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We're gonna get out of here.
I have work tomorrow. Alas. But, you know, you all could help us out with that issue because you can subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like and comment. VOD Squad on Twitch.
Tell your friends.
To tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend. And make sure that all those friends subscribe and follow.
And you can have watch parties watching us.
Yeah. But make sure everybody's logged in, but you can watch on one screen.
We love you guys. We'll see you guys next time.